Plan on going live. Starting preview. Quality is good. That's what we want. I'll take a quick swig of my Walnut River Teeter Rock as we go live. You got your water?
Yeah, I got my special ice cold Radius water.
Radius water. There you go. Oh, happy hugs from Starlin. All right, we are live. Let's see if we can get some people to kind of audio should be halfway decent for us. Oh yeah, I just realized I'm not going to be able to see chat. You're going to have to wing it with the notes. You got your notes up on your phone?
Sure. Yeah, okay. I'm good. We got no agenda. We got no agenda today.
We are just winging it. So if you are tuning in, welcome to Dynamic Discs live updates with Jeremy Rusko. Of course, we are following the COVID-19 stay-at-home order for Lyon County, which is Emporia, Kansas. Jeremy Rusko is from the comfort of his home, as well as I am from my place of residence. But we thought it'd be a good time to just a relaxed atmosphere, but keep you updated on what's happening with Dynamic Discs. We'll kind of give people a few minutes since we said we're going to go live at 4:30, but we're already live. We'll give a few people a few minutes of time to get in there. But I'm going to see if I can pull up the chat here. So, audio.
Yeah, here we are.
So audio is good. Audio is great. Nice. We got some feedback, so people are loving what they're hearing. So while we're waiting for the audience to tune in, Jeremy, how you been?
There we are. How are you?
We
are.
We out here.
Everybody out here.
We in here.
Oh, man. Where did the week go? Gosh.
It was, yeah. You sent an email earlier about it being a fast week, and it really was a fast week. There was a couple times, maybe Wednesday, I thought, wow, it's only Wednesday. And then all of a sudden I blinked, and here it is Friday evening, people getting off work, clocking out, or already at home, maybe not necessarily clocking out, but changing from their home at work sweatpants to now their lounging sweatpants. So,
yeah.
So how are you keeping yourself busy and sane during this lockdown?
Oh, man. Well, fortunately, in a lot of regards, I mean, I work a lot from home anyway, at least in the morning. And so it's just a longer extended day from home, which in some regards definitely feels like things are very productive on my end, but it just feels weird. It feels weird to not be able to go into work, to not go into the warehouse, not go into the retail store, and not interact with everybody that's that we surround ourselves with every day. And when we had our meeting on Tuesday, our virtual meeting, yeah. I don't know, that just every Tuesday we get together, we meet, and it feels like a productive meeting, and that meeting felt very different. And I suppose, as we do another one this coming Tuesday, I suppose it'll be more effective and more productive, and we'll get used to it. But I'm ready. I'm ready for the day when we are back to normal, just like I'm sure everybody else that is tuned in and or not tuned in is ready. So yeah, it's weird. It's different.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, guys, if you're watching, it looked like we got a few people in here. Make sure you share this out. Let people know. They're going to get updated on some stuff happening at Dynamic Discs here in a few minutes. We'll start with our agenda that we have. Let's see. People are asking. Let's see. Rising Am Disc Golf says he's currently in my yard looking for a disc in the woods.
Yes.
What kind of backyard you got there, buddy?
It must be a good backyard.
I know. Let's see. Other people just saying, hey, thanks for being here. Jeremy's a bit loud. I think I turned it down a little bit. Hopefully that fixed that. Let's see. Rusko. Jenny Margs, why'd I do that? Well, Jeremy's going to have a little surprise for you here in a little bit. So speaking of Jenny Margarita, so
you might have made a phone call.
Yeah, you might have made a phone call. So make sure you stay tuned for the 5 o'clock hour when it's time to relax and have a nice beverage. Did you sign the disc I ordered, Bobby? It was a putter. I think I've signed 4 or 5 discs since being home. We're being real cautious about not interacting with each other, and so they would leave stuff at my desk, and I would go to work to grab some cable or wire that I needed, and I would see some discs there, and I would sign. So hopefully yours was one of the ones that I was signing. Any chance when is Bobby versus Rusko disc golf match? Jeremy's he's an athlete all around. He would just tear me up on the course. I'd have no chance. There we got Starlin. Starlin in the house.
She is rambunctious and ready to. She's ready for a disc golf round on herself.
Yeah.
And yeah, Bobby, I can't. I'm looking forward to the day that we can go back out together. Since I'm. Well, I guess I can get to that in a little bit, or maybe I should just get into it now.
We might as well. Yep, might as well jump right into it. Go ahead.
So
what's on your mind?
Well, on the backtracking a little bit over the last couple of weeks, what's been going on? Wendy and I actually have a little vacation plan to go to Florida. She's a huge New York Yankee fan, and we got to experience the final two spring training games of the year last year, and we had decided that we were going to go and catch 6 New York Yankees spring training games for this year, and was actually going to be the longest vacation that we'd potentially ever taken. And so we left on March 12th, I believe that was Thursday afternoon, and that was the time when it seemed like almost everything was starting to get shut down. And actually, just as we were leaving. The announcement about MLB baseball being suspended, at least spring training, and got announced, and was like, man, did we still go on our trip? And we decided, we got our place booked. We're going to go. We're going to get some sunshine. We're going to get some warm weather. We'll go do maybe some different activities than we had planned. And so we went, and it was actually that next morning. Joe Shargaloff with the PDGA, the executive director of the PDGA, shot me a message at like 7 a.m, said, hey, you got a few minutes to talk? And I called him right away, and that's when, and this was when Waco was going on, of course, the Disc Golf Pro Tour event in Waco, and said, hey, we're going to shut things down. This is all these other larger organizations are making the decision to suspend their play, and they're at a much, they've got a lot more people to help make these decisions, and we think they're probably they've done a lot more thinking about this than potentially we have, and they've got a lot more knowledge and experience in certain to a certain capacity. And so anyway, we made the decision that we were going to have to make the devastating decision to cancel the Glass Blown Open, and brought Doug Bjerkes in on the call, and we talked about that, and that was, it's a bummer to think that it's almost like our entire year, our calendar focuses around the Glass Blown Open, where we really, we plan for an entire year on what we're going to do in a lot of regards, and everybody looks forward to the Glass Blown Open. Our staff, our tournament directors, our volunteers, the players, the spectators, and it's just a bummer that we're all in this difficult situation, but we're going to get through it, and things are going to be good. And so, anyway, we went on to Florida, and we spent some quality time there. It was really interesting. Every day, things were changing by the minute, by the hour, and we had to make some different changes as an organization with, hey, what are we going to do? I don't remember exactly when the office staff work from home went into place. Bobby, you remember what day that was?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Not this past Monday, but the Monday before that. Yeah, golly, wow, it's been 2 weeks. Wow.
Yeah, I know. Time's flying. Anyway, well, I wasn't at home working, but I was working from the sunny sunshine state of Florida, and
sounds rough. Sounds real rough, Jeremy.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, and I'm very fortunate to be able to work from really anywhere in so many different regards, and it was good to be able to communicate with everybody. But oh boy, Starlin's ready for some.
We got some treats for her, yeah.
Come on, let's join the party. let's join the party. So anyway, yeah, working from there, had plenty of work to do there in Florida, but it was nice to get away. And anyway, just got back on Sunday. We made the decision we were going to drive the 20 straight hours. We drove down to Florida instead of taking the direct flight from Kansas City because we wanted to take our kid, Starlin, and she was excited to go and excited to make the trip. And so anyway, we made the decision we were going to drive straight through. Got up at 4:30 in the morning and got back that same day on Sunday. And we are now in a 14-day self quarantine to just try to reduce any risk and do the right thing. And I think this is, I don't know how you count, but I suppose this is probably day 16 or day 6 um, of that. And yeah, here we are. The week flew by.
All right, we actually have a question about everything that's going on from Greg. If it's okay, if we go ahead and jump into one of the questions we have.
Yeah, far away.
I imagine that the pandemic has taken a big hit to your supply chain. Are you anticipating inventory stockouts within the near future?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question for sure, and something that we've been trying to keep our eye on and be on top of. And fortunately for us, Latitude 64 is at full production capacity, and the most critical part of the operation for us is making sure that we've got discs, and Latitude 64 is showing no signs of slowing down. Fortunately for them, they are located in the far northern part of Sweden. Don't really expect that. I mean, at some point they're probably going to have some challenges up there, just like every city is going to. But I think it's going to take a while to hit up there. And the other thing is with their production being essentially 100% automated. Now it does require human interaction to move the discs into boxes, and some of the stamping process, depending on what it is, might need to have human interaction. And so anyway, we're looking good there. And these challenges were coming up earlier in terms of our overseas production with the bags and baskets and carts. We have experienced some delays, or what appears like we're going to have some delays, and I do expect that some of those are going to continue. But in a large regard, as of right now, things are looking pretty good. Our suppliers have been able to keep their operation going almost in full, and hopefully we don't get hit hard. But I tell you what, it seems like every day things are changing, and so we'll just see where the next month takes us. But it looks like they're making some strides overseas, where they're kind of overcoming things, and we're getting what they were familiar with what they were experiencing a couple weeks to a couple months ago.
Yeah, well, it's definitely affected lots of different parts of the world and parts of course, the United States here for us. Now, I know that there's some stay-at-home orders are different for different counties that are out there, depending on how populated your area is. At least that seems to be the feel as far as how strict the stay-at-home orders are. I know that in some of the stores where they are located in bigger parts of the country have had to actually shut down. Jeremy, can you talk on that a little bit?
In terms of our operation, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was, Bobby, you were a part of a lot of those conversations too, but, we absolutely were getting concerned that things were going to get shut down at not only the Dynamic Disc retail store, the online operation as well, which is out of the same building, and then the warehouse. We are at a stay-at-home order right now in Emporia, but we have been deemed, or we've been, I don't know if to say granted or approved that we can work. We actually, I think it was sometime last week, we shut the doors to visitors at the warehouse, and then I believe it was Monday afternoon, we had made the decision that we were no longer going to allow walk-in retail store traffic in in the retail store. And that was a really tough one because right now it seems like so many people, with this just being the spring season, weather getting nice, the disc golf, the grass is greening up. People are jonesing
Yeah.
to go play go play disc golf, and Starlin's jonesing to go play disc golf, and um, to have to shut the retail store down was not an easy decision, but of course, you got to factor in the safety of all the employees and the individuals that would walk in the store. And so we made that decision that it was best to close the doors and let people call in their order and pick it up, or order online and say, well, we'll pick it up later. And so that has been shut down. But fortunately for right now, the online operation is still going. If you order a disc from dynamicdisc.com, it is still going to get shipped in the same capacity that it has been. And if you order as a wholesale customer to stock your retail store shelves, for those retail stores that are fortunate to still be open right now, we are shipping out those orders and have been on track. But and again, the really cool thing is, in some regards, is this seems to have shed a little bit of positive light on disc golf, in the sense that it's an outdoor activity that does, in so many regards, practice the social distancing aspect and component. And it does seem like there are more and more people that are getting interested in playing disc golf. So one of the things I want to, everybody that's tuned in right now, one of the things I want to do and challenge and encourage everybody to do is to have Starlin quit barking. But to think about that individual that's in your life right now, a friend, a family member, a coworker, who maybe has, kind of been interested in disc golf, but haven't quite made the leap to getting out there and playing a disc golf round with you, haven't made the leap to buying their first disc or their first starter set. And I'd like to encourage and challenge you to buy them something from any disc golf store anywhere. Obviously, the online probably makes the most sense, and drop ship it to their house, or have it shipped to their house, and say, hey, wanted you to play disc golf and try disc golf for the first time whenever you feel comfortable getting outside. And it seems like a lot of people, I know there's a little controversy into whether we need to be playing disc golf or not, but I think it's pretty clear and evident that a lot of people are going to be playing, and so that's a personal decision on whether to get out to the course or not. But buy that friend a disc, get them out there, and they might find the bug that all of us got.
Absolutely. Now, I know that Emporia were able to function a little bit, but the Dynamic Disc Carrollton and the Dynamic Disc Kansas City, I don't know if you mentioned that, they've had to go ahead and shut their doors based on the orders within their county, correct?
Yeah, and a huge bummer there. Much like I think a lot of the disc golf stores across the country, it seemed like most retail stores were experiencing growth this year. Part of that growth seems to be a little bit related with, we had a little bit more of a mild winter than we had before. But we were seeing some great numbers in several of the retail stores. And yeah, Dynamic Discs Kansas City, Dynamic Discs Carrollton, both are no longer open for business. And it looks like it could be 30 days until they get up and going again. So we've got a couple other retailers as well. I know Hazy Shade is shut down. I talked to Jason Southwick over at Marshall Street I think it was yesterday, and he said that they shut down their course, the Pyramids, and that's a pay-to-play course up there in the Northeast. And he didn't want there to be people out on the course because the trash, they got a bunch of trash cans out there and just putting people at danger. And it's all, in a lot of regards, there's some regional things that are going on in terms of the severity of the situation, and he's in a much higher concentrated area where there are problems. And there's Marshall, or not Marshall Street, but Maple Hill. I think I heard they're shut down. Hey, there's Sebastian. Is that Sebastian? Star, come here.
He's wanting some attention.
Come here. Star's ready to play too. It's tough times, challenging times for for everybody. And these stores are the tough thing is that we're off to a great start of the year, and now we're facing some of the biggest challenges we've ever had. And I know that Discraft closed their doors um, per state order. I think I'd heard the MVP was closed down as well. And there were some rumors that Innova West was shut down. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is tough as a disc golf community, and we're very thankful that we're open today. But we know that any minute that status can change, and we got a lot of disc golfers that are
Yeah,
essentially.
that's maybe an aspect that maybe some people didn't think about. We've got professional players that this is what they do for a living. They go out and play tournaments, and they get winnings from tournaments, and they also get bonuses from places that give them bonuses based on how they play. Now they're not able to do that. But another thing to think about is, like Jonathan Ray and Tyler Searle, these I like to call them rolling stores, where they're supposed to be driving around, going to different courses and to different tournaments and selling out of their RVs. They're unable to do that now. They're getting creative and doing stuff online and things like that. But yeah, so it's affecting a lot of different areas of disc golf for sure.
Yeah, let's get back to normal.
Yeah, let's get back to some normalcy. Let's see. So I'm looking at your notes.
Well, speaking of the players, I mean, this is just such a critical time to, it's just so different for everybody, and I encourage everybody that's tuned in here. These tour fundraiser discs that we provide for our players or put out for our players, and even other brands, whether it doesn't matter what company you're sponsored by, if there's a way that you can support your favorite touring professional, and you have the means to do it, because there's obviously a lot of people are potentially facing some challenging times coming up. But if you can support your favorite professional disc golfer, as they have essentially their sources of revenue, streams of revenue, have been cut off in full. I think that'd be a great opportunity and great way to show your support for those players. So if you can do it, do it. And they will very much appreciate that support.
All right, we got a couple questions coming in, guys. Remember, you can send in your questions into the YouTube chat. We've got Danny in a remote location filling me in on Google Docs. I got to tell you, real quick before we get to the questions, it's bad that some people can't work, but I have to be thankful for my situation, which allows me to work from home. And I think me and you mentioned it the other day, Jeremy. If we didn't have internet, what would we be doing? I don't even know what would we be doing. I wouldn't be able to do some of my job. A lot of my job wouldn't be able to do it. So very fortunate to be able to have internet and be able to still function at some capacity after what's going on. Let's see. This question is from Coleman. Can you tell me what the special disc was going to be for the Monkey Island, and if that will be sold now that it is canceled? So we were going to have an event here. Would have taken place last weekend, I think it was supposed to be.
Yep.
The Monkey Island Open had filled up, I believe, to capacity.
Oh, yeah.
We had people on the waiting list, and I know Doug tried to wait till the last minute to make sure to see if we could make it happen, but unfortunately we could not. So, do you know anything that's going to happen with any discs that were meant for the Monkey Island Open?
Unfortunately, I do not have that in front of me. If I pull that up here a little bit later, I will share that. But usually there's a pretty cool item for player pack. I don't have anything in front of me though.
No, okay. Let's see. Doc Zen wants to know: can you ask Jeremy if he thinks a later start to the season could lead to more tournaments at the end of the year in the South? So that's a good question. So I know that Doug's kind of looking at different weekends to try to run some local stuff here. I know we can't redo the GBO. There's just no way to reschedule that. There are just way too many moving parts, too many people to try to reschedule certain things. So I know something like the GBO, but maybe something like the Monkey Island Open or something like that, we could try to do something later on once we're give the okay to get back outside. What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I know that, Texas State's, we'd be at Texas State's right now.
Yep. I had my food delivery. My food that normally gets delivered is not here. I totally forgot and had canceled it because we'd be in Texas State's. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so that was obviously a national tour event. Latitude 64 was going to be the title sponsor of the event, and unfortunately, that one is canceled. I know that with talking with Steve-O, he is looking at making that be done at the end of the year. I think in like October. I should know that date, but I think there is some scheduling preference or priority to those that have already been scheduled, and so I don't know. He's trying to figure out a way to make that work, and I do think that come the end of the year, I think the season is likely to be prolonged and extended. I think we're going to see much more um, events come November, come December in the southern states that are, or at least the higher profile players are going to be playing in those events, and I think that's great. And I do think there's going to be an explosion of tournaments come when the sanctioning is able to happen again. I think there's going to be an explosion of tournaments that, in some regards, overlap one another. But I think that due to the number of players that we have right now and the excitement for being able to play competitive disc golf when that happens again, I think the tournaments are going to do quite well, and players are going to be excited to have the opportunity to compete again.
Excellent. Well, one of the ways you had mentioned about supporting those pro disc golfers that are out there that are unable to play and make a living right now as far as tournament play, one of the ways that we have that you can help support is our Team Series discs that 4 of them just came out yesterday. The Lucid X discs, the EMAC Truth, the Lucid X Maverick, the Lucid X Sheriff, and, of course, the Lucid X Felon. Those are for, let's see, Felon is for Eric Oakley, Paige Shue has the Sheriff, Zach Melton has the Maverick, and Eric McCabe has the EMAC Truth. Now, that's a good way for you to support your players, is because proceeds from those sales go to the players. But someone had a question about specifically the EMAC Truth, because my understanding is those things sold out very quick. Do we have any plans to restock those, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think, what was it, like 15 minutes?
15-20 minutes is what I'm hearing, yeah.
Now that was on dynamicdisc.com. That
Right.
doesn't mean that your favorite retailer sold out that quick, and so definitely scan the internet and see where additional Lucid X EMAC Truths are available. And so we've with talking with the team players and finding ways to give them the most support possible. One of the decisions that was made in conjunction with the players was to not just have a single run of their disc made and produced. And so we are coming out with, they won't be at least my understanding of it right now is that it'll just be this one Lucid X run, and like standard Lucid X plastic, and an additional, a later run that'll come out might be a Glimmer or a Chameleon Lucid X run for the players. And so while the standard Lucid X EMAC Truth won't be coming out, you will be able to have the opportunity to buy and support that player through a Glimmer Lucid X or a Chameleon or a Moonshine Chameleon. I'm not exactly sure on the specifics. That's the players came up with the decision on what they wanted to do. And the other thing too, and I think that's part of the reason why things sold out so quickly for like the Lucid EMAC Truth. One, it was the first time it was available, and we'll call it a stock run. But the numbers are lower this year, and so we are in terms of each specific run. Since there's going to be additional runs coming out, there's not quite as many being produced as maybe in previous years. So I think there's going to be more collectability, more demand, less supply, and get your hands on them, support those players.
Nice. We also have some other new stuff that came out. I see on the notes that you wanted to talk about the Sargent. The Sargent has been very popular. I've been watching some Facebook stuff happen there, and a lot of people are super excited about the flight of the Sargent, or they've just ordered some and they can't wait to try them out based on what they're hearing as far as reviews. But it looks like we had plans to release more during GBO, but obviously with GBO canceling, that's not going to happen. But you expect to see some special releases coming out soon. What else is on the forefront as far as, or in the future as far as new stuff coming out?
Yeah, as you said, Bobby. Look for some special stuff coming with the sergeant and or some new stuff because I know that you can't. There's not any sergeants that are ready to ship from the warehouse and or from dynamicdisc.com. But I did look online. I did take a look. There are some sergeants on other disc golf stores out there. So check it out. I know that disc has been very popular so far, so you definitely want to get your hands on one. But yeah, I know that in the upcoming couple weeks, we've got some Opto Glimmer Pearls. We've got some VIPX Glimmer Gatekeeper, which the VIPX Glimmer Gatekeeper is absolutely an exciting one. And those are going to be, yeah, I think wholesale at the end of this month and a retail release of April 9th. And then something else that I'm pretty excited about is, we've got several different plastics in the putters. We got our prime plastic, we got classic soft, classic blend, classic or classic hard, however you want to refer to it as. And there's kind of that tweener. Classic blend is our most popular in terms of the classic line. And anyway, we've come out with a hybrid version of that, and I think people are going to latch onto that and like that blend. It is I don't know if we should necessarily call it like a limited edition or, oh my gosh, a limited edition or a special edition, but it is, those are going to be out available. The deputy, the guard, the judge, and the warden are going to be released at the middle and the end of April, and there's no plans on running those again for the time being, but based on the feedback that we get, based on the popularity, we could do another run maybe towards the end of the year or for the 2021 season. So those are coming out. And then we've also got some new colorways coming at the end of the month. They were scheduled to land just in time for Glass Blown Open for the Commander, and I believe Rangers will be following shortly behind that. And so those are going to be it's going to be fun to see those new colorways getting injected again. We're able to do much smaller runs. So if you think back a couple of years ago to the way that we were able to have a lot more unique patterns out there, and kind of the bags aren't available for very long because they sell through, and then that's that one and done. We're going to get back to that, and I think that you're going to see a lot more variety in the Commander, Ranger, and the other bags. So excellent. Yeah, that's that.
Yeah, so I know a lot of people ask on social media about different colors of the bag, so that's going to be good to see an influx of new colors. Also, something that is happening right now is United States Amateur Match Play Championships. Of course, again, is getting slowed down just a bit because of the COVID-19 situation. What did you want to touch base on that with?
Well, Bobby, I just noticed it's 5:01.
Is it 5:01? It's time to bust out some. I got me walnut Teeter Rock beer, but what do you got? What do you got to share with us there, Jeremy?
Well, that's one of the most. This is probably one of the most challenging times for restaurant owners. So I want to give a shout out to anybody who works in the service industry, the restaurant industry especially. And, thankfully here in Emporium, I think in a lot of places you can place an order and pick it up. And I know Radius is one of those. And those guys love supporting disc golf. And, in terms of my favorite place to get some of my favorite tacos and chips.
I'm so jealous right now.
And margaritas. Jenny and Carlos and crew over there. They've got an amazing margarita, and I am fortunate to have one here. And I'll have a Radius IPA here once I finish this.
Nice. I know that they are doing curbside services for Casa Ramos. I know a lot of our restaurants here are doing that curbside. And I believe tonight I will be getting some tacos along with the Jenny Margarita that they say they will bring to your car. I mean, how can you not order a Jenny Margarita if they're going to bring it to your car?
Yeah, that's, I think that's pretty cool that they actually are allowing that, because that's something that you haven't been able to do. You've had to go to, like, I think there's like, what, Eskimo huts or something, where you can go and get a drive-through uh, vodka slush or whatever. I don't know why I can't think. Have you never heard of Eskimo? I think it's Eskimo Joe's.
Oh, it's Stillwater, Eskimo Joe's, yes.
Yeah.
I was trying to think here. I was like, there is nothing here like that.
Yeah. And so anyway, now we can do that to a certain degree, and yeah, it's just a way to support, the restaurant industry and keep them going, and I think that's pretty cool. So I got sidetracked. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. So you were talking about we just talked about bags.
You at US. So back to USA. MPC.
Match play. Yes. Let me get a few more of these going.
Speaking of Walnut River, yeah, right before I left on March 12th, Bobby and I went down to visit our friends over Walnut River down in El Dorado, Kansas, where they were brewing a provisional IPA, which was going to be the special glass blown open release IPA for the year, and we were really excited about that. But now with the glass blown open not happening, I guess we're not going to have provisional IPA, so that'll be slated for next year. But back on to United States Amateur Match Play Championship. Be sure to check out discgolfmatchplay.com. This has typically been an event where we have the local brackets that happen in March and April, and then in May we have the state bracket, and then in June we have the national finals here in Emporia, Kansas. And obviously, with everything that's been going on, we have had to modify that format, and that could modify again. Depending upon where the situation goes, we might make additional adjustments to it. But right now the plan is that in April and May and June we're going to have our local brackets take place. And the great thing about match play and the great thing about Starlin is that she is ready to play. April and May and June are the local brackets. July and August are going to be the state brackets, and then in September we are going to have the national finals. We are not going to do a doubles version this year, and so there's still discs for life, or lots of $6,000 in discs for more discs than you can get that are on the line. An 18-hole veteran course, tee signs. There's so much stuff on the line with the United States Amateur Match Play Championship. And the cool thing about match play is it's you and one other individual. And so in terms of social distancing, match play is a great way to get out there and play competitive disc golf, yet still be aware of the social distancing aspect. So check out discgolfmatchplay.com. We'll get some more information out about that as it comes along. But I think that match play absolutely has a great opportunity to give people who are used to playing in tournaments, as we can't play tournaments right now. This is a great way to be competitive out there on the disc golf course. That's that. Yep.
Awesome. Cool. All right. So I see that recently you did a talk. Oh, first, before we get to that, let me see if there's any questions for you. Let's see. Oh, Tyler wants to know, when will the GBO packs be shipped out?
I think we were planning on the target date for that is going to be the day that you would pick up the player pack at the glass blown open, and maybe that'll be the day that you actually get it on your doorstep, or maybe that'll be the day that it leaves Emporia. But we still have some of that stuff that is somewhere in transit, and so we've got to get the little bit of that all here, and then we'll get it out there. But this is if you look back years ago, I know there was a little, there was we had ordered a lot of stuff just per usual for player pack items, and really appreciate everybody's flexibility in picking up the player pack as a way to, we didn't issue refunds for the amateur players that are getting the player pack. And the cool thing about that is if you look back, there like probably 6, 7, 8 years ago, we actually had a huge demand for people that just wanted to buy the player pack,
Mm-hmm.
and we actually used to sell the player
Mm-hmm.
pack,
Yep.
and then we made the decision that no, we want you to be in Emporia. We want
Right.
you to experience the disc golf awesomeness that we have for the entire week. And so we made it where players couldn't have the opportunity to buy the player pack. And now players are getting it without having to come here. And I think it's a pretty cool thing because the player pack is awesome. The player pack is great. There's a lot of special, unique items that the only way you're going to be able to get them is by being at the Glassbone Open or by receiving the player pack this year. And yeah, we're going to be shipping them out, and we appreciate everybody's flexibility as it's been a challenging time for all.
Excellent. All right, guys. If you have more questions, keep them coming in, and Danny will relay those to me through the magic of the internet. So, as I was saying before, you had given a speech or given a talk at ESU. Of course, that's Emporia State University here in Emporia, to a collegiate entrepreneur organization. Tell us about how that went.
Yeah, so a couple weeks ago, I had the opportunity to go back to Emporia State University, and yeah, the Collegiate Entrepreneur Organization (CEO). I wish that organization was there when I was in town, or not when I was in town, when I was in college. A really motivated young group of individuals that are passionate about being an entrepreneur, and it's just really cool to be there and share my experience. And in case anybody that's listening doesn't know, I got Dynamic Disc started while a business student at Emporia State University, and just started it as an eBay hobby where I didn't really expect for it to be anything other than that, and that would be a college hobby where I sold a couple discs a week or whatever. And anyway, it was really cool to share the experiences there with everybody. And one of the things that they wanted me to talk about was essentially what I thought were what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. And I went over 20 different characteristics of what I think it takes to be a successful entrepreneur. And I'm just going to share 5 of those today.
Nice.
And depending on if anybody, maybe next week we'll talk about 5 more of them. But one of the things I got started, I made the decision to start a disc golf eBay business because I had a passion for disc golf. And I think that's really important, is you got to have a passion for what you go into business for, because if you don't have a passion, it's not going to take long until you burn out on not having any interest in working with what you're working for. And so anyway, I think that's really important to have that passion so that you can make it not just in the short term, but in the long run. And if you put a whole bunch of time, effort, and energy into growing a business, and then you lose your passion, it's just not gonna work out. So, second thing, I think you got to have empathy as a successful entrepreneur. You got to be able to see things from just more than your perspective. You got to take a step back sometimes and take a look at not only your employee's perspective, but you might have to look at your customer's perspective. And you're not always going to be the one that's right. And you just definitely got to find a way to have some empathy, work with your employees, work with your customers, work with those that are around you. And I think that's a really important aspect and component. You got to have the ability to sell, believe it or not, in a lot of regards. If you're not able to sell your product or sell your idea, you're probably not going to make it very long. And one of the things I can remember is, and for those of you who are tuned in, you probably remember the '94 Ford Explorer. And I was selling discs out of the back of that for quite a long time. And sometimes I got to upgrade to my grandma's minivan to get a little better gas mileage and pack a few more things in there. And there for years and years and years, we're going to tournaments. And Bobby, you were at a lot of these tournaments, and Eric McCabe. And I mean, there's lots of individuals, but we're there selling at the tournaments. But it's not just selling at tournaments. I mean, when I look at the before we had a full organization, before we had a sales team. I was making sales calls and having to navigate those calls. And fortunately now, got a sales team, national sales director, my brother. Very fortunate to have him lead our sales team. And really important that you've got to have the ability to sell. And then the last thing I guess I want to talk about today is the ability to accept criticism. Because, oh my, as an entrepreneur, you're probably going to get a little bit of criticism, and and Starlin's ready to party again. But rejection is in so many ways the nature of business, especially with a startup organization, or especially with the new business. And entrepreneurs face criticism all the time, and you got to be able to take that criticism, and you got to not worry about it sometimes, and or you got to realize that your idea is not going to be the best idea all the time. And Bobby, I know a couple months ago when we had lunch, you had made the comment about you really appreciate how I have a lot of ideas. And sometimes in our meetings, my ideas get shut down. I got a lot of bad ideas too, and the bad ideas get shut down. And I'm quick to accept that that's okay. And not every idea is going to be a good idea. And you got to learn to take that criticism, and you got to learn to move on. And so, anyway, going back to it, got to have passion, got to have empathy, got to have strong communication skills. You got to have the ability to sell, and you got to be able to accept criticism. That's my 5 tips to be a successful entrepreneur or a successful business today. And next broadcast, we'll go over 5 more.
I love it. Good stuff. I think the biggest thing that speaks to me is the ability to sell. Like you said, the thing is it's not just selling products. Sometimes it's just selling yourself. You know, if you've got a big idea, if you've got to, when you're talking with people, working with people, you've got to be able to sell yourself in a sense that the idea you have to be able to articulate it to people so they understand where you're coming from. So good stuff. All right, we got a question coming in from, I didn't say who it was, but it just says, you had mentioned earlier about GBO player packs, how we used to sell those. So they want to know, obviously with GBO being canceled, can anyone order a player pack now? Is that an idea that we have or are going to go with, or what?
Well, if there are any left over, they will be put up for sale. Don't have any specifics around that, and so stay on the lookout. Stay tuned in, and we will put those online whenever they're available.
Excellent. Cool. Well, that's
there will not be a tremendous amount of them.
Yeah, there will not be a bunch of them for sure, I bet.
Yeah. What other questions we got, Bobby?
Well, I think that's all the questions we got that Danny's put up. Looks like people are just let's see, Danny, not Daniel. People just chatting away on here. Just talking different stuff, having a good time. I think that's it. That's it. We hit everything on the agenda. Yep. That's all the questions we have. I think people are probably ready just to relax and chill. Maybe after a hard day's work at where they work, or a hard day's work at the house. I know I'm going to go see if I can, there's a, what's the Facebook page? We supported them a little bit with some discs, but it's the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge. Yeah, a lot of people are going live on the Facebook page, so you can find it on Facebook. I believe it is Global Pandemic Putting Challenge, and you go on there and see how many putts you can make from 20 feet away. I believe what the challenge is. I have to look at it. But I'm going to get that challenge done for myself, go live, and then I think I might set up my pickleball net out in the cul-de-sac here in our neighborhood and maybe hit some pickleball a little bit, see how that goes. Do something. Another interesting thing is one of the bands that I like, well, 2 of the bands I like are actually doing a live concert tonight on Facebook Live, so I might sit back and enjoy some music from a live concert. So a lot of celebrities and a lot of activities are trying to find unique ways to make sure that people stay active and don't go a little stir crazy and being stuck at home. What are you going to do this weekend, Jeremy?
Yeah, well, I'm self quarantined here, so I can't leave the premises for the most part. But yeah, I don't really have any specific plans. I think a little yard work, little work around the house. These are definitely some interesting times. I know a lot of our disc golf retailers, disc golf businesses are facing some challenges they've never faced, and we're right at that list, right at the top of that list with you. And it looks like some help is on the way. Hang in there. Know that we're all going to get through this together. And when all this dust settles, disc golf is going to be much stronger. I think there's going to be a much larger player base, and we are all going to enjoy that time that we get with friends and family and out on the disc golf course more than we ever had before. So,
Yep. Someone's looking for some advice. They say, for all the tournament directors out there, what would be our best plan of action for planning for the future?
every day, check the news every day and see.
Yeah.
It's hard to plan when you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, and we don't know when sanctioning is going to be available again. We don't know when this thing is going to get by, so you can't really put too much into planning for when you don't know something's going to happen. And hang in there. Let us know how we can help you. I know that every tournament order that we had that was due up for custom stamping, before we stamped that order over the last week or two, we've reached out to every one of those individuals that had placed the order to make sure that they still wanted it. Of course, some didn't want the order just yet until they knew the new date for their tournament, and some said, "Yeah, stamp it, ship it," and we're excited to have the product. But yeah, hang in there. Disc golf tournaments are going to happen again. We're all going to get to go outside again and have fun. There might not be as many handshakes or high fives, but life will be good again.
Someone has an interesting question. I don't know if you know the answer. Has the cost of plastic come down in line with the cost of oil?
That has not been brought to my attention. I will absolutely be hopeful that is the case, and it absolutely would make sense in some regards. I think that will be it won't be an overnight process. You're not just going to see that plastic price go down right away, but I sure would be happy about that.
Yeah, that'd be nice, huh? Let's see. I think that's about it. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, I think that's good. So you ready to wrap it up, Jeremy?
Yeah, ready to wrap it up. Appreciate you guys.
Finish that. I haven't even seen you take any sips of that Jenny margarita.
Oh, well, that's because you've been looking at that computer in front of you, man.
Look at that. I'd have been 3/4 of the way done.
Ready to get the weekend?
I was doing really good on eating. I was talking to a friend of mine, a coworker, found out that he had lost some weight solely because they have been eating from home more because they haven't been ordering because you can't order. So, but I discovered DoorDash and have had a couple of restaurants deliver here. And it's kind of cool because what they do is you can say in the notes, you can say, just knock on the door and leave the food on the front porch. And they've done that. They just knock on the door and they walk away and they leave the food right there. So that's kind of cool. So I don't know if people are taking advantage of DoorDash, but there's that you can do that. Okay, so let's wrap it up. So what I want to say real quick is that, as we mentioned, a way to support the pro disc golfers is to make sure that you look up for those Team Series discs with dynamic discs and order from them, order from us online, order from them, order from other stores. If we're out of a certain disc at dynamicdisc.com, please check other retailers where we do wholesale business with them and look them up there. But also, of course, I would love for you to buy Dynamic Disc Latitude 64 Westside discs. But in these trying times right now, if you've got a favorite pro that you follow on YouTube or you just enjoy watching them play, make sure you support them too. Whatever disc they're selling to, make sure that they have some income coming in during these times of no tournament. Make sure you hook them up and buy a disc or two if you're able to. I think that'll go a long way to help them feel supported and help them kind of make it through all this. What do you got, Jeremy?
Absolutely. About it. I think it's past 5 o'clock. It's been a roller coaster of a week for not only us. I'm sure every one of you guys This is interesting times, and we're all going to get through it. Appreciate what you do to support disc golf and to support us. And if you got a friend that needs a disc, needs a starter pack, ship it directly to their door and tell them to get out there, get active, play disc golf. And we look forward to checking you guys out next time. Always working on something over here. Have an awesome weekend.
See you guys.